Hi guys, welcome to another biology video. In this video we are going to look at biology paper 2 for GCE candidates for the year 2022. So this question paper has got two sections. So let's go through the paper and see what the solutions were for this exam. Section A, short answer questions, 44 marks. Answer all the questions in the space provided in the question paper. Question 1. Figure 1 shows cell division in animal cells. We have the zygote, which divides to form cell A and cell B. Cell A becomes the muscle cell. Cell B further divides to produce two new cells. Part A1, state the characteristics of living organisms being demonstrated in figure 1. So we have 7 characteristics of living organisms. So which ones are shown in figure 1? So when we come to the 7 characteristics of living organisms, we have movement, we have respiration, we have reproduction, we have growth, we have excretion, we also have feeding, and we have sensitivity. So among these ones, which is the characteristic being shown by figure 1? So the one which we see here is growth, because the cells are actually growing from a zygote. We are now growing to more cells. So having mitosis taking place, which is creating growth. So this was the answer to question number A1. A2, explain what has happened to cell A. So cell A has tended to form the muscle cell. So since cell A has tended to form the muscle cell, we can simply say that the cell has now become more specialized into a muscle cell so that it can perform its function better. So this was the answer to question number A2. Part B, explain how the zygote in figure 1 can result in the formation of an organism through cell division. So this question is asking us to say, how can we move from a cell and then create an organism? So from the zygote, how does the organism come into being? So here what will basically happen is that the cells are going to divide and they become specialized. Then the specialized cells are going to form tissues, then tissues are going to form organs, then organs form systems, and the system will then form the organism. So this was the answer to part B. Part C, describe 2 life processes of living organisms and state the role of the enzymes in the 2 processes. So when we come to life processes, we have 2 life processes. The first one we have is anabolism, where complex molecules are made from simple molecules, for example in photosynthesis. The second one we have is catabolism, where simple molecules are made from complex molecules, for example respiration. And in both reactions we are going to need the enzymes. So these were the answers to question number 1. Question 2, figure 2 shows the transverse section of a leaf. So the transverse section of the leaf, we have the parts labeled X, we have the parts labeled Y, we also have the part labeled Q, and part labeled R. Then we have water vapor leaving and the carbon dioxide going into the leaf. So this is our figure 2. A1, identify tissues X, Y, and Q. Tissue X is the upper epidermis. Tissue Y is the parasite mesophyll. Tissue Q is the phloem tissue. Tissue Q has got sieve pores, which are here we are seeing the sieve plate. So this is the phloem vessel. Tissue X and tissue Y were tested for starch. Which of the 2 tissues would show the presence of a high concentration of starch? The tissue which will have a high concentration of starch is tissue Y. A3, give an explanation for your answer given in A2 above. So tissue Y will have more starch because it contains more chloroplast than tissue X. It will receive more sunlight for photosynthesis, hence it will contain more starch. This was the answer to A3. Part B, 1. Name the cell labeled R. Cell R is the gut cell. B2. What feature does cell R have in common with the tissues X and Y that enables it to perform its function? The feature that is common in tissue X and Y, which enables cell R to perform its function, is the presence of the vacuum. So these were the answers to question number 2. Question 3. Figure 3 represents the bones of the forelimb of a mammal. We have parts labeled H, K, I, and J. Part A. Which letters correspond to the following structures? 1. Radius. The radius is part H. 2. Ulna. Ulna is part K. 3. Humerus. The humerus is part I. Part B. 1. Identify the type of joint found at J. The joint at J is the hinge joint. B2. Give a reason for your answer in B1. Joint J is the hinge joint because the hinge joint only allows for movement in one plane only. This was the answer to B2. Part C. Name 2 disorders of joint J. So 2 joint disorders. The joint disorders include 1. Arthritis, 2. Dislocation, as well as gout. So here on you need to write 2 answers. So these were answers to part C. Part D. Explain why a bone is regarded as a living tissue. A bone is regarded as a living tissue because bone is actually made up of living bone cells. It contains blood vessels. Bones grow. They also produce red blood cells, and bones can be infected by bone marrow cancer or tuberculosis. Question 4. The figure shows a schematic diagram indicating the movement of water in a plant from the roots to the leaves. A1. Name the part labeled P. P is the root hair cell. A2. Identify substance O. Substance O is water vapor. A3. What name is given to the space through which substance O comes out through the leaf? The space is called the stoma. So here it's a stoma and not stomata because here we are only looking at the singular. We're not looking at spaces, but a space. Part B. State the term used to refer to the process responsible for the movement of water at points L and M. At L, water moves by osmosis. At M, water moves in the xylem vessels by transpiration pull. These were the answers to part B. Moving on to part C. Give 2 reasons why it's beneficial for the plant to lose water at point O. So transpiration is important because it provides water for photosynthesis. It also has a cooling effect on plants. These were the answers to part C. Part D. Apart from the xylem vessel, name another vessel found in the stem used for transport. The other vessel found in the vascular bundle is the phloem vessel. So these were the solutions to question number 4. Question 5. A. Define the following terms. 1. Gene. A gene is the basic unit of inheritance. 2. Genotype. Genotype is the genetic makeup of an organism. These were the answers to part A. Part D. In a family of rats, the recessive allele, small letter d, causes stunted growth. If it occurs in an homozygous animal, use a genetic diagram to predict the offspring produced if 2 heterozygous rats were mated. So when you are going to write a genetic diagram, there are 5 steps which you are going to follow. So the first step is to write the parental phenotype. So parental phenotype, you are going to have normal male crossed with a normal female. The next step is to write the parental genotype. So parental genotype, you are going to have heterozygous crossed with the heterozygous. Then the next step is to write the gametes. So we write the gametes by splitting the genotypes. So we write the gametes, then we separate the genotypes. Then next we show the random crossing. So after the random crossing, we then write the F1 offspring genotype. So the offspring genotype, we are going to have homozygous, heterozygous, heterozygous, and the homozygous. Then next, we write our F1 phenotype. So F1 phenotype, we are going to have normal, 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 and the stunted. So this is how you write a genetic diagram to show how two heterozygous rats will have offspring which are formed. So they are going to have 3 normal to 1 stunted. So the ratio is 3 to 1. So this was the solution to question number B5. Part C, explain one named cause of genetic variation. Variation can be caused by genetic factors such as mutations where structure of a gene or number of chromosomes suddenly change. So this was the answer to part C. So these were generally the answers to question number 5. So question number 5 is the last question in section A. Section B, 36 marks. Answer any 3 questions from this section. All answers must be in complete sentences and paragraphs. Write your answers in a separate answer booklet provided. So we have 5 questions in this section. We have first one, which is question 6. 6A, what is meant by good health? 4 marks. B, with named examples, explain the following diseases. 1, genetic. 2, social. Also 4 marks. Part C, describe the causes, signs and symptoms of bilharzia, 4 marks. So this question is worth 12 marks. Question 6A. Good health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being accompanied by freedom from illness or pain. It is dependent on receiving a balanced diet and the appropriate physical and mental activities. So that is what good health is. Part B. 1. Genetic disease are inherited from parents to offsprings, for example, Down syndrome, sickle cell anemia, and albinism. B2. Social diseases are self-inflicted. These diseases are acquired through wrong lifestyle choices, for example, drug addiction, lung cancer, and gout. Bilharzia is caused by schizophrenia. The signs and symptoms include blood in urine, blood in feces, anemia, as well as tiredness. So these were the answers to question number 6. Question 7A. Outline the functions of the parts of the flower, 8 marks. B. Describe the characteristics of wind dispersed seeds or fruits, 4 marks. So question 7 had a total of 12 marks. Let's show the answers in complete sentences and paragraphs. Question 7A. The flower consists of the following parts: the flower stalk, the receptacle, sepals, petals, filaments, anthers, stigma, style, ovary, and ovules. The flower stalk links the flower to the stem. Receptacle is where flower parts are attached. Sepals protect the flower in the bud stage from drying up. Petals are brightly colored and scented to attract insects for pollination. Filaments hold the anthers. Then the anthers produce and store pollen grains. Stigma receives pollen grains. The style holds the stigma. The ovary contains and produces the ovules. And the ovules is where fertilization takes place. So these are the parts of the flower. So these were the answer to part A. B. Wind dispersed seeds or fruits are small and light. They have wing-like structures that cause them to float, thereby delaying landing. For example, sycamore seed. They have parachute of hairs to increase the surface area for floating in the air, like the dandelion seed. So these are the adaptations to wind dispersal. So these were the answers to question number 7. So you can present your answer this way in a complete sentence as well as a paragraph. Question 8. A. Explain the meaning of the term sexual harassment, 2 marks. B. Describe ways of reducing sexual harassment, 4 marks. C. Explain the appropriate sources of help on sexual harassment matters. Total 12 marks. Question 8. A. Sexual harassment is an effort to achieve sexual satisfaction by taking advantage sexually someone of the opposite sex. It involves unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical harassments of sexual nature. That is what is known as sexual harassment. B. Sexual harassment can be resisted by being firm. Be consistent in your verbal communication and non-verbal communication, and avoid the explicit dressing. So when it comes to verbal and non-verbal communication, make sure when you're saying no, say no and don't be smiling, because your non-verbal is saying yes because you are smiling. So make sure when you are firm and you are consistent in what you are saying and what your body is doing should be consistent. So that is how sexual harassment can be avoided, and also avoid the explicit word dressing. So this was the answer to part B. C. The appropriate sources for help on sexual harassment matters include reporting to parents or responsible adults in society, your peers, religious institutions, school guidance, youth-friendly corners, the media, NGOs or CSOs, the police or victim support unit. These are where help can be obtained on sexual harassment issues. So these were the solutions to question number 8. Question number 9. A. What is meant by the term hormone? 3 marks. Part B. Describe the effects of underproduction of the following hormones in humans. 1. Insulin. 2. Thyroxine. 9 marks. Total 12 marks. Question 9. A. A hormone is a chemical secreted by ductless glands, transported in blood, and affects one or more target organs before it's destroyed by the liver. B1. Underproduction of insulin leads to a disease called diabetes mellitus, whose signs and symptoms include abnormally high levels of glucose in blood, presence of glucose in urine, persistent thirst leading to excessive intake of water, drastic loss of weight, and loss of sensation in certain body parts. B2. Underproduction of thyroxine causes myxedema and cretinism. Myxedema is a condition where the basal metabolic rate and mental development are slow. Cretinism is a condition where physical, mental, and sexual developments of a child are retarded. It also causes the formation of a goiter due to swelling of the thyroid gland. So these were the answers to question number 9. Question 10. A. Define the term biodiversity, 2 marks. Part B. Explain 4 ways of maintaining biodiversity, 4 marks. C. Identify the importance of conserving plants and animal species, 6 marks. Question 10. A. Biodiversity is the variety of living organisms in an ecosystem. B. Biodiversity can be maintained by avoiding deforestation, avoiding overfishing, avoiding overhunting, encouraging game keeping, and applying the 3 R's of conservation, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. for sustainable use of resources. Conservation of plants and animal species is important because it adds aesthetic value and creates tourism. Plants have medicinal benefits and animals are a source of protein. They are also important for educational purposes and research. It preserves habitats for animals and plants. Future generations can also benefit from the resources. That's why it's important to conserve plants and animal species. So these were the solutions to question 10. After you are done answering your paper, make sure you fasten your answer booklet to the question paper. Then 2, enter the numbers of section B questions you have answered in the grid on the right bottom corner. So here, for example, if you answered question number 10 as your first essay, you include it in the space here as 10. Then if your next question was 6, you write it down here as 6. Then your last question, your last essay which you answered was 9, you write it down there as your 9. So don't forget to fill in this booklet. If you'd want to make a donation to the channel, you can use my QR code shown here. YouTube unfortunately does not monetize channels in Zambia, so I have no way in which I can actually help you guys further by improving the quality of the videos. But we'll try to work with what we have to bring you guys more videos later on. So if you're able to donate, please go ahead, but if you can't, it's fine. I will continue bringing you as many videos as I can, but at least with your help, I can actually move faster to ensure that videos come much quicker so that you have access to all the papers. Thank you so much in advance for you guys who are going to make your donation. Thank you so much guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new videos which I upload. So bye for now. I'll see you guys again in the next video.